All right, let's take a look at my top 5 features to really help you extend your Dynamics 365 sales environment. First thing we're going to take a look at is going to be Copilot inside of Dynamics 365 Sales, as well as inside of Outlook. We're going to jump into customer voice and what you can do there with our survey management tool. We're going to also take a look at the sales mobile application. We'll get into Microsoft Teams collaboration capabilities. And then we'll wrap things up with what we can do with a Power BI report embedded as a dashboard inside of Dynamics 365 Sales as well. So let's go ahead and jump into our demo environment here. First thing we're going to take a look at is going to be Copilot. So over in my right-hand sidebar, I've got Copilot enabled, so I can open this up here. And you can see I've got a few different prompts out of the box. What I'm going to show you is how we drill down into an account or a lead or an opportunity, we're going to get this great summary feature. So Copilot here in a second is going to engage and it's going to surface a summary around the particular account that I'm looking at. So here it's extracting key information around a datum, showing me the annual revenue, number of employees, etc. Some information around maybe my timeline or the last modified. And then I've also got some related information. So right now I'm looking at a couple of related opportunities that we're working on for a datum. If I had any open cases show up, those might show up here then as well. And then I've got some additional prompts down here that I could also use to engage with Copilot regarding the account that I'm looking at this current time. If I was looking at opportunities, I'm getting a lot of that same great functionality. So as I open up my opportunities, first thing we're seeing is our deal tracker here. But if I go into an individual opportunity, now Copilot is also going to snap into action here and give me a summary around this particular opportunity. So I really didn't have to do anything other than actually open up the record I'm looking at. And then it's given me that, again, that high level detail around this particular opportunity. So some great stuff there. Again, if I wanted to continue to ask additional questions inside of Copilot, I could do that down here below. I've also got a dedicated homepage for Copilot now inside of Sales. So you can see as I open Copilot up, it's actually servicing that most recent information around the account and opportunity that I was just engaging with. I've also got some additional prompts in here, or I could engage with Copilot down below. And then if I scroll all the way to the top, you can see up front here before I started engaging with it, I had some additional information, some additional prompts, I should say, that I could have used. Those are really going to be the same thing here as far as these out of the box ones. So for example, if I wanted to see what my pipeline looks like, we'll go ahead and choose that as an option. Now down below here, this is going to provide me with a high level overview of my current pipeline. And let's see here. And here we go. So here's our deal tracker information represented by estimated close date and then the current sales stage at each of them are in. Down below, I've got a list then of those opportunities that I'm working on. So a great feature here inside of Copilot, just really scratching the surface of what we can do there. So the next thing I want to take a look at is going also at Copilot inside of Microsoft Outlook. So as I open up my web-based Microsoft Outlook, I do want to point out that the end user experience, whether you're using the web-based Outlook or the desktop application, is going to be the same. So I'm going to see Copilot for Sales in my demo here over on the right-hand side of my screen, and I'm accessing that through my application selector here. If you're using the desktop app, it is still available to you, but it's just going to be up towards the top here. So as long as you have the correct license for Copilot for Sales, you are going to be able to use that then inside of inside of your Outlook. Now, I can see that I've got different emails here tracked back to Dynamics 365 by this indicator icon here on the email record itself. So I got this email that came in from John Doe, looking for a couple of products, looking for a code as well, and a time to connect. Over on the right inside of Copilot for Sales, you can see that it's identified this email from John Doe. It's surfacing some key email information as a summary. It's allowing me to connect this then back to a specific record. So maybe I've got an opportunity that I want to connect this to that's going to then relate it to that record, show up in the timeline, or maybe I even just track it right back to the account or the contact record itself. So I've got some different options there. You can see that it's identified John Doe as an existing contact. John Doe is a sales manager at General Products. Also some additional opportunities that John Doe is working on with us here. And then down below here, even further, we've got the account record and then some options to collaborate inside of Microsoft Teams from Copilot for Sales as well. So a lot of great stuff here inside of Copilot for Sales, connecting to that Dynamics 365 environment. If I wanted to also use Copilot to help me draft a response back to John, and I go ahead and select that draft, an email option here, I can describe what I want Copilot to help me with, or I could use one of these existing prompts here. So let's go ahead and make a proposal. You can see where it's actually going to use Dynamics 365 related information, such as maybe a price list that's attached to the account that John Doe is a part of, to help me start drafting a response back. So here you can see it's gone in, it's suggested some different pricing options, as well as even a meeting time based on my calendar availability. And then some additional information as part of that response. So if I wanted to use that, I could, or I could go in and I could ask Copilot to adjust this. Maybe I want to select a different meeting time, adjust the tone of my email, or even make it longer or shorter, and add additional key details. So if I wanted to mention 20% off this week, as this example states, I can certainly do that and then ask Copilot to update this email for me. Customer voice. Now, customer voice is a great feature. This is something that is not used often enough. Now, this is a survey management tool, something where I can come in, it's very user-friendly if I want to provide different theming, really go in and edit and create different questions to use internally or externally. I can do that here with the customer voice tool. So I can create that post-survey message, create a footer for it as well, and then different customization options around that branding and theming, choosing what I want to use as questions that might impact different survey or satisfaction metrics that come back from those responses as well. So you can see, for example, I've got the NPS question in here as well. So if I drill down into my survey results here, you can see I've got a few that just went out just so I could generate some data for these different charts, but we're seeing what those responses look like here. And then if I wanted to actually take a look at the respondents, I could do that as well. Now, you've got some different options in how you send this out. So I could send it out automatically. Now, maybe that's through a workflow, for example. So anytime an order is created, I want a survey to go out, or anytime, or maybe once a quarter, I want a survey to go out. But if I wanted to send them out anonymous, you could. And that could be through a QR code, providing a link that maybe goes out in an email, or something that sits on your website, right? A link to it right on your website as well. So here are some of those different options as far as how we send it out. So can you get really creative with what that looks like? If you're using the Dynamics 365 marketing tool, this is also a great feature to help extend how you reach your customer that way as well. The third thing that we wanted to take a look at then was going to be our sales mobile application. So this is actually a free application, and let me go ahead and drag this over on my screen. So this is a glimpse of what the sales mobile app looks like. Now, I'm using this on my iPhone right now, so I've actually got that in my hand. This is a free mobile app. I'm just logged in with my demo environment user credentials here. And you can see it's actually looking at some of the recent records that I was just using inside of Dynamics. So who are those recent contacts? Maybe opportunities, for example, that I was looking at, or that account that we were just looking at. So I've got all of that right at my fingertips here. Again, really, there's nothing that I can't do here that I was able to do inside of the desktop browser window. So I could come down here and I could look at my meeting calendar for the week. So if I had any meetings, I would see those here. Service, if I had any that were using Microsoft Teams, I could actually join right from my mobile device. If I use this plus button here, I can go in and create new records for my device as well. Obviously, this is tied to security and the security role that you have assigned to you as a user. But if I have the ability to create a new account or a new case, new contacts or new activity types, I can go ahead and I could do that here. And then if I hit this ellipses for this more button down in the bottom right, I've got really the full suite here on my mobile device as well. So I can access those account records just like we were just doing inside of Dynamics. So if I wanted to open up a datum record here, I'm going to see that full form surface on my mobile device here. So I could go in and use my timeline to maybe track activities. I could get turn-by-turn directions to a record if I've got the maps enabled here on the table type as well. So you can see all of my activity inside of my timeline too. And then I've got all those additional tabs that I would typically have on my form. So the Dynamics 365 mobile application is a great tool to have. If you're using it on a phone or tablet, there are dedicated applications for each of those. So I'd highly recommend you take advantage of those as well. All right, the next thing we want to take a look at is going to be number 4 is the Microsoft Teams collaboration option. So I'm inside this demo environment, and really this is going to be very similar to the experience with your Outlook capabilities inside Dynamics. Now, whether I'm using the web-based version of Teams or the desktop application, that end user experience is going to be the same. So inside of this environment here, I'm going to open up the sales team and the general channel, and you can see where I've got a view pinned here. So as a end user, if I wanted to come in and not have to bounce back and forth between Microsoft Teams and Dynamics 365, I can actually pin those views or specific records to a channel to give me quick, easy access. So if I open up a data bank here, you can see I'm actually surfacing that form right inside of Microsoft Teams. Now I can make updates, I could create, add activities, all the same things that I'm doing inside of my browser. So that's a great feature. I've also got Dynamics 365 pinned here as an application in my sidebar, my sitemap of Microsoft Teams also. So I could go in and access the entire application right inside of Microsoft Teams. Again, eliminating that swivel chair impact. And if I come back into into Dynamics 365 Sales, I've got Microsoft Teams chat capabilities built in here too. So over on the right in my sidebar, I've got Microsoft Teams enabled. Now I can see all of my Microsoft Teams chat. And if I wanted to continue to collaborate with my teammates or just have a conversation with them, I can do all that from within Dynamics as well. So again, eliminating the need to have to move between applications because I've got all those capabilities in one. And if I want to relate records back to a specific account or contact or timeline with Microsoft Teams, I can do that as well. Okay, so the last thing that we wanted to take a look at was Power BI reports as dashboards. Now, if I come into my dashboards and I've got that Power BI embedding capability turned on, I can come in and start taking those reports and embedding those as dashboards. Now, if I come in here, I've got a couple of examples. Let me just collapse Copilot over here to give me a little bit more real estate. And this particular report, the marketing and sales Power BI report embedded as a dashboard, allows me to still interact with it. So if I wanted to take a look at this particular chart, if I click on it once, it's going to open up its own window. I can see I've got all the additional tabs that are available to me as part of this Power BI report. And if I wanted to interact with it, I certainly could. So you can see how it's updating all of my other charts, very similarly to how it would behave inside of Power BI. But if I wanted to open this up right inside of Power BI, I do have a link to do that here as well. So the ability to embed Power BI reports as dashboards is just a great tool for your sales team or whomever is using the Dynamics 365 sales application. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video today of my top 5. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to share. Otherwise, have a great day.